Good day, doctor. My name is Teng Wei Ling, metric number D64105. I would like to present the assignment 1 that I did. Jetty that we chose is God Island. There are 5 members in my group. First one Teng Wei Ling, and the second one Fong Siu Mei, and the third one Lin Kin, and the fourth one Kong Yung Tian Chi, and the last Uda.
Fisheries management is an important element to ensure the smooth running of the process in the fishing industry. Efficient fisheries management will have a positive impact on the increase in income, especially fishermen, and the economic progress of fishermen can be improved. Based on the task given, we have selected the Pulau Kambing Jetty to conduct observation on the advantages and disadvantage at the jetty and market, and interview section with local fishermen to get more information on how to manage the fisheries until the process at the point of sale, which is mainly sold at wet market near the jetty. The observation at the Pulau Kambing Jetty was held on January 17, 2023 at 5:30 a.m. Therefore, the purpose of this task is for us to expand our knowledge of fisheries activity at the local fishing jetty. That's it for the introduction.
Alright, so moving to the parts of issues, we have 2 interviewees from Pulau Kambing Jetty to answer our questions. So the first question is, what kind of fishing gears are used? So mainly there's 3 types, and that is fish trap, hook and lines, and throw nets. Alright, and as for the targeted species, they mostly target on grouper, threadfin bream, crabs, and others. Right. As for their operational duration, it's around 5 to 6 hours. They must arrive at the port no later than 5 a.m. in the morning for sorting the fish caught before it's ready for sale. And to the fishing zone, it includes Zone A, B, C1, and C2 depending on the category of the boat. The boats are actually categorized into their respective zone based on the functionalities and the performance of the boat. And fifthly, the handlings of the fish after being brought on land will be sorted out by species, size, and grades into baskets before sending them to Pasar Borong and Pasar Tani, while some will be purchased straight by walk-in customers. Unsold fish due to overstock will either be exported to other places or will be stored with ice and will be sold on the later day. And the boat activity will carry on and not be hindered by the flows of the fish to the consumers. Alright. Alright. And then next, to settle the bycatch. The bycatch will be processed as in cutting off the head and other unwanted parts until only the flesh remains. Then factories will purchase the bycatch for further processing into another new product. People from the community will also buy bycatch as feed for their pets. Right. And as for the amount of harvest, right, the amount of harvest will be different every day depending on the fishing spots and the fish available at that certain regions. Just one trawler boat can harvest up to 80 tons of fishes, so the estimation can be made with the types and numbers of boats there. And second last, why the fish are packaged in plastics? So it is because the fish will be packaged in the plastics by the workers on the boats and will be sorted according to the size of the fish to make the selling easier. So the fish will actually be filtered and be sorted out um, according to this size as mentioned earlier. So larger quantity of smaller fish can be packaged into the same bag as opposed to big fish. Usually one packet weighs around 8 to 10 kgs, with 10 kg as the standard weight most of the time, and then it will be bought by resellers coming in motorcycles and vans, hence the need to buy such a quantity packet so that it's easier to resolve and for better transport. So as for the last topic, storing fish with ice. The fish will be stored in a fiber container with ice as the first layers, and then followed by fish, and then lastly covered by another layers of ice. So the layers can go up to three at maximums, and one container can hold 120 kgs of fishes and ice at a time. So basically, that is it for the parts of issues, and move to the next about advantage and disadvantage.
Okay, so now we would like to introduce our the fish species and also the prawns that we found when we visit to the jetty. So the first one would be gold banded jobfish. So we know it as ikan kerisi for the local name. So for this type of fish, they are mostly it's a schooling fish which they will stay together for social reasons, and if the group is swimming in the same directions, then they will direct in the same coordinated manner. So mostly we can find this type of fish in hard, rocky and uneven sea floor and step off of the islands. So the next one we have aerolated grouper. And for this fish, we can note it as ikan kerapu bintik bulat, which they contain a heavy body carnivore that they will feed on the fish, such as invertebrates like octopus and also other crustaceans. So for this fish, they mostly can be found in the seagrass beds or on fine sediment bottoms that near rocky reef and also depth coral. So for the next one, we have pink ear emperor, Plandok for the local name. So it's the species of emperor fish. They has a distinctive blood red colorations around the margins of the gill cover. And for this fish, they mostly can be found on the sandy bottoms in the coastal areas and also deep lagoons, as well as near the coral reef. So moving on, we have red emperor snapper. So it is known as Janahak for the local name. And the key characteristic for this type of snapper is they have the red eyes and sharp needle-like teeth in their mouth, and also as well as they have a pointed inner fin. So to find this fish, we can go for the rocky and coral reef areas. And for this fish, they are prefer the flat areas with either a sand or gravel substrate. Moving on, we have fork-tailed threadfin bream, and we know it as ikan kerisi merah rose for the local name. So for this fish, they are mainly feeds on crustaceans and other for small fishes as their food resources, and they can be found near to the sandy and muddy bottoms and also in some shelter estuaries. So other than that, we also have yellow striped scarp, known it as ikan selar kuning, and they are type of pelagic fish which inhabits in inshore waters. So for this fish, they are predatory to fish and also taking crustaceans and as well as other small fishes for their food resources. So next we have, all right. So moving on, we have Baiji snapper. We know it as kunik kunik, and it's one of the family from Lutjanidae. So how do you identify this type of fish? You can identify by their color and their body, which they contain a body silvery and with yellow or sometimes yellow-brown strips color on their skin. And they also contain an oval black spots below their dorsal fin soft rays. So for adults, by his snapper, they will inhabit offshore coral reef. So next we have brown streaked snapper. We know it as kunyit remon for the local name, and their color is most like pale brownish to pinkish color, and they also contain yellow fins, which help us to identify this type of fish. For adult brown streaked snapper, can be found near to the coral reef from 10 to 20-meter depth. All right. Next, we have sulfur goldfish, which we can note it as ikan bijik nangka. So they are mostly would be distributed in Indo-West Pacific from East Africa to Southeast Asian, or from North to China. Alright, so next we also have common dolphin fish, which their local name is Bilitonumba, and they are the family of Corvifinidae. Their lifespan is around 3 to 4 years, and they are tropical and subtropical waters throughout the Atlantic, Indian, and also Pacific Ocean. Alright, moving on, we have moonfish, which this type of fish, they have a little bit special body shape, which they have a very deep body, which almost triangular, and they are really extremely compressed. So their local name is ikan kapak. They'll be found near to the bottom in brackish and marine water in the vicinity of the reef. Alright, next we have leopard's coral grouper. So it's one of the grouper that we know it as ikan known for the local name. Their color is a bit reddish, and sometimes the others like a bit dark greenish brown. For this fish, they has blue rings around their eyes, so which help us to identify the fish. Like it's one of the characteristic there. And to find this fish, they can mostly found near to the coral-rich areas of lagoons reef and also mid-shelf reef. Okay, next we have next we have red snapper, ikan merah pucat. So as they are already mentioned in their common name, red snapper. So obviously they contain the red color on their skin, and they have almost white along to their caudal pedicle, and they present over shores, rubble, coral, large epipendots, and also they also prefer to the place that contain hard or sandy mud substrate and offshore reef. So we can go to this habitat to catch the red snapper. And moving on, we have torpedo scat, ikan chenjeru. They are families of the Carangidae. So for this fish, they have a very obvious deeply forked tail and fusiform type of the body. So for this fish, obviously they are really is a fast swimmer, which they can be found near to the pelagic in inshore water from 20 to 100 meter depth. So of course we also have narrow-backed Spanish miracle. So the Malay, for the local name is ikan tenggiri. So for this type of fish, they contain the fillet, and the fillet is one of the morphologies that help them to aid in the speed of the fish by cutting through the water so that the fish can swim faster when they are preying to the predator. And they are one of the pelagic species, which they are mainly distributed in the Indo-Pacific. Alright, so after that we also have coastal trevally, ikan cermin. So for this fish, they are sometimes solitary, or maybe they will move together in the small groups. So what we can say, this fish is a rather sluggish fish as compared to other current white species. For the last species for the fish, we have yellow margin triangle fish, which we know it as ikan ayam for the local name. And for this fish, they are a bit pinkish to grayish color on their skin, and they contain a yellowish pink snout, also a darkish strips behind the eyes, as well as they also contain a yellow fin margin. Alright, so last but not least, we also found one prawns, which is tiger prawn. So they know it as udang harimau. So for this fish, they are really for this prawn, they are really famous because they contain a really unusual large size, and they can be identified by black strips across the dorsal side of the tail. And they are really famous. Because they are widespread popularity. So, and they are really famous because of their good adaptability, and they are really easy to farm. So one of the reasons that why they are so famous, because they has a high values of nutritional properties, which they contain cholesterol, protein, omega-3, that is really important to maintain our body health. Of course, we cannot eat like too much, because since they contain the cholesterol, and this cholesterol will take a risk for us to get some arterial disease. So after that, of course, this type of prawns, they are really taste good, which their flesh is really like small, moist, and also really fresh, and also they have a medium flavor, which like cause the people really like to taste it. So Basically, this is all the fish species and also the prawn that we found when we visit to the jetty. Thank you very much.
Let's begin on my part is the advantage and disadvantage of the jetty and markets. So let's see, the first advantage is the grading techniques that used by the fishermen to grade the captured fish. Was their own experience. In conjunction with this, none of the modern instrument was used during the grading sessions. They can differentiate the fish directly with their bare eyes right on the spot to differentiate the size and the species of the fish. This can help them to fasten their works of grading the fish. Sometimes work experience is better than relying on modern instruments in doing certain things. Even in this modern area, the traditional ways is still better and has a reason why it has existed for so long, where it is very helpful to humans. The second advantage is the working space of the jetty and markets. The working space is plenty enough where they can easily transfer the fish between landing parts and market parts to avoid the customer from hindering their works. The third advantage is the attitude of the fishermen. The fishermen very were socially active in engaging their potential customers. For example, they were very enthusiastic in promoting and explaining to the customers about the fish information and other related matters. Even for us students who do not buy anything from the fishermen, the fishermen were still willing to help us with our interview sessions. This shows that they give a good impression to customers so that they will come back to buy the next round, even not this round. Right, let's move on to the disadvantage of the jetty and markets. The disadvantage is the biosecurity and hygiene in the markets and jetty. We noticed that the fish is placed directly on the floor and the motorcycles drove in the landing area. Direct contact with the floor and rough handling by workers lead to many consequences. For example, it causes damage to the external parts of the fish that sets the depreciations in the price of which the fishermen will earn less due to the poor appearance of the fish that is less attractive for the customer to buy it. Furthermore, the accessibility of motorcycles allows for contaminations to happen to the fish which incidentally causes great harm to humans if consumed. The second disadvantage is techniques storing fresh fish. At the jetty and the markets, the vendors do not have their own freezers to keep the fish temporarily when there are too many stocks, or the fish remains unsold. A freezer can keep the fish under good quality and guarantee freshness for a far longer time as compared to keeping them in fiber containers. The freezer can keep the fish at below 18 degrees Celsius in long term without any problems. Through this way, the fish not only was kept fresh, but the wastage of resources can be prevented. This can also help them to improve their salary because more fish are sold and customers will purchase again because the fish quality is good and fresh enough. This will attract more customers to buy from this jetty and markets. Last but not least, the last disadvantages is the tidiness and arrangements of the jetty and markets. The tidiness and arrangements of the jetty and markets are not so attractive for the first time visiting customers because the first impression is best and not systematic. The image of the jetty and markets will be greatly tainted along with the reputations. The jetty and markets can be improved by upgrading the place using a modern design to rekindle its attractiveness, whereas some non-ice comforting stuff can be kept hidden from the public. Moreover, the price tags can also be upgraded by all vendors using the same type of price tags. This will lead to a more systematic selling systems that not only benefit to the vendors but also the customer, in which they will not get confused by different price tagging but instead feels easy to buy and comfortable. That's all from me. Thank you.
5. Suggestion. The suggestion that I give, it depends on the disadvantage. The first suggestion that I give is good icing practice. Good icing practice is very important because it may affect the, if not do it properly, it may affect the pressure of the fish. Okay, first, the fisherman must break up the ice into the small fishes from ice block, so the ice can put more ice in the isolator box and prevent the ice from melting easily. Next, how they put the ice is 1 kg of ice with 1 kg of fish. The ratio is 1:1. They must use isolator box to keep the fresh fish. Last, they must put the ice at the bottom after they put the before they put the fish, and followed by the layer ice fish fish. This is a pic. This is how they keep the fish with layer by layer. Ice fish ice fish. The top is last is with ice, must be ice. They also must cover the fish in good. They also can keep the ice properly after they use or after they handling the fish to prevent the ice to prevent the ice from melting. Next, hygiene practice. Hygiene practice is very important. Hygiene practice is very important for fishermen to keep the fish to avoid the fish from contaminating. First, fiberglass and polystyrene should be used to make insulated fish hole or box. Polystyrene is one of the material that can keep warm, not keep the ice in the prevent the ice from melting, and keep the fish freshness. If the wooden of the board should be could be food grade paint, means the paint of the wooden must can be consumed by the human. If the painting is poison or have toxic, it may affect the fish. It may affect for human, and the fish will be contaminated, will be polluted. Okay, the animal and the herbal pathogen and should not be permitted to enter or reside in board. It will affect the fish freshness. Next, fish vessel is well designed and has enough space to do the procedure easily and more quickly. And last, fishing boats should be built to protect the fish from harm and contaminated from gross, lean, and unclean water. Okay, this is how they clean the boat and how they clean the fishing gear. And also the equipment after they use for handling the fish. The last suggestion is group practice for of the landing site. The manager and operator of the landing site must be familiar to the infrastructure. Next, they must cover the place where the fish kept after they harvest to prevent the fish from drop into or polluted and also pull through soil water. The gate at the entering and the ferry they must separating so the spot the traveler or the other sport activity will not affect the landing site at the jetty. And next, larger enough to accommodate everyone movement and effective equipment utilization. The place the working spot the working space should be large enough for the people to work and handling the fish. Last, after handling the fish, the fisherman must clean the equipment and put the equipment at the correct place or clean it properly. Okay. This is one of the example how they must keep the facility or practices to maintain the quality of the fish and the fish and to avoid the fish from contaminated. That's all.
The conclusion that can be made is that there is a wide range of information on issue, advantages, disadvantages, and suggestions obtained during the observation at the jetty. Among the issues that interviewed by a fisherman was that the issue on how the fishermen handled the dumping of unsold fish stocks by selling them in large quantity to other places for the purpose of marketing. In addition, the result of the data collection on the pros and cons at the jetty found that the pros and cons of the jetty are the same. Therefore, several proposals have been highlighted as improvements to overcome the disadvantages that occur at the jetty. In conclusion, we hope that fishermen management can be done well so that the fisheries industry can be developed in the future. That's it for conclusion. Thank you.